Okay, on this lesson, what we've got today is angle pair relationships. So we're going to start with the first one, and these angle pair relationships are supplementary, complementary, linear pair, and vertical angles. So let's start with the first one. Suppose angle A is a complement of angle B. Find the value of x, the measure of angle A, and measure of angle B, if the measure of angle A is 7x plus 4 and the measure of angle B is 4x plus 9. The first thing you want to make sure that you can do is identify the vocabulary word. So in this case, the vocabulary word is complement. Now, we're used to the word complementary. In this case, it's just grammatically correct to say complement. So the complementary angles, those are angles that add up to 90 degrees. So that is our key right here. We have to use that information in our problem. The two angles that we're adding together are angle A and angle B. So we're going to start with the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B equals 90. Now this is just like angle addition, where we're adding angles together to equal a total. In this case, the total is always going to equal 90 because that's what complementary means. So complement just means that it's always going to add up to equal 90 degrees. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to substitute into our equation. So angle A is 7x plus 4. So we're going to replace the measure of angle A with 7x plus 4. And we're going to add that to the measure of angle B. And in this case, the measure of angle B is 4x plus 9. So we've got plus 4x plus 9. And that is still going to equal 90. Remember, this is just called substitution. This is our general equation. Now, even though it does have a number in it, that's okay. It's still our general equation. Next, we're going to combine those like terms. And now when these like terms are on the same side, you add them. So 7x plus 4x, 7 plus 4 is 11. And we're going to put x after. Next, you have a 4 and a positive 9. 4 plus 9 is 13. So we're going to have a plus 13 in our problem. And then we're just going to bring down the equals 90. Next, I'm going to subtract 13 to both sides to get 11x equals 77. When you divide both sides by 11, your final x value is 7. Now in this problem, we also want to find the measure of angle A. So the measure of angle A, we're just going to substitute, just like we've been doing with segment addition, angle addition, we are just substituting. So angle A is 7 times x plus 4. So 7 times 7 is 49, plus 4 gives us a value of 53 degrees. So the measure of angle A here, that's going to end with 53 degrees. Okay. And lastly, we have the measure of angle B. So the measure of angle B is 4 times 7 plus 9 for a total of 37 degrees. Now you can always check your answer. Your answer should total 90 degrees because they're complementary. So 53 plus 37 does in fact equal 90 degrees. So that lets you know you've substituted and solved correctly. The key to these problems is being able to identify the vocabulary word. So in this case, the vocab word is complement or complementary, and that's always going to mean add up to equal 90 degrees. Let's try number 2. Suppose angle P is the supplement of angle Q. Find the value of x, the measure of angle P, and the measure of angle Q if the measure of angle P is 6x plus 4 and the measure of angle Q is 10x. Now in this case, our vocabulary word that we're seeing here is supplement or supplementary. That means that the angles are going to add up to 180 degrees. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to go ahead and start substituting. We're going to add the measure of angle P plus the measure of angle Q, and now instead of it equaling 90 degrees, it's now going to equal 180 degrees because that's the definition of complementary. Or supplementary, I'm sorry. Next we're going to substitute. So the measure of angle P, that's 6x plus 4. plus 10x equals 180. So again, all we're doing from here is we're replacing our angle P with the actual expression, and we're replacing angle Q with its expression. Now we've got information on the same side of the equal, so I have a 6x and a 10x. When I add that together, I'm going to end up with 16x. There's nothing for us to do with this plus 4, so I'm going to bring it down and still equal it to 180. Now from here, what you want to do is subtract the 4 to both sides. I'm going to do minus 4, getting 16x equals 176. Divide both sides by 16, and x will be 11. Now we're still going to solve for the measure of angle P, and we're still going to solve for the measure of angle Q. So what we're going to do here is substitute. Measure of angle P is 6 times x, which is 11, plus 4. So 66 plus 4 gives us a total of 70 degrees. So angle P is 70. Angle Q, so the measure of angle Q is 10 times x, or 10 times 11, which is 110. Again, you can check if you've done this correct. 70 plus 110 does add up to 180, so you do know that you set that up correctly. Remember, you need to be finishing the problem, so we're solving for x, the measure of P, and the measure of Q. Let's try the next one. Now in this one, there is no vocabulary word, it's all visual. These let you know when they're across from each other, they're non-adjacent, and the sides are opposite rays, meaning they're straight lines. These are going to be called vertical angles. Now vertical angles are always congruent, so let's name the one on the left. So we have angle ABC, and that's going to be congruent to angle DBE. We're going to use definition of congruency to change that to an equal sign. So the measure of ABC equals the measure of angle DBE. And remember, this is called the definition of congruency. When we get into our proofs chapter, that's going to be a critical step in proof writing. From here, we're just going to set those equals. So we get 3x plus 22 equals 6x minus 8. That's called substitution. Now remember, these angles, this angle here and this angle here, they are across from each other. It looks like an X. That's how you know that they're vertical angles. So I'm going to go ahead and solve. I'm going to move the 3x to the other side through subtraction. I'm going to get that 22 equals 3x minus 8. Adding 8 to both sides gives us 30 equals 3x. And dividing by 3 gives us an x value of 10. Now the goal of this question is to find the measure of angle ABC. So ABC is here. So the measure of angle ABC is 3 times x, or 3 times 10, plus 22. We're going to get a total of 52 degrees on this problem. So again, all we've done here is we've taken angle ABC. Its expression was 3x plus 22, so we did 3 times 10 plus 22. And when we simplify, we get an angle measure of 52. For our last problem, there is no vocabulary that's corresponding to this picture. So what we're going to use here is a visual vocabulary word. It's called a linear pair. Notice how in this picture, this forms a straight line. So that lets you know that it's a linear pair. What we're going to do from here is set up our general equation. Now, linear pairs are half of a circle. They're adjacent angles. One side is opposite ray, which means it's going to form a straight line. Half of a circle is 180 degrees. So we know that these two angles must add up to 180. So looking at your picture, let's create our general equation. So we have the measure of angle DBA plus the measure of angle DBC. And that's going to add up to 180 degrees because a linear pair forms a line, which in turn is a straight angle, and straight angles always add up to 180 degrees. Also, we're going to be adding our two angles together. So here's DBA. So we'll be substituting some information for that in just a second. And here's angle DBC, and we're going to be substituting that information into our problem as well. So angle DBA is 4x plus 6. We're going to add that to 11x minus 6, and that's still going to equal 180 because it's half of a circle and it forms a straight angle together. Let's combine those like terms. So we've got a 4x and an 11x for a total of 15x. Then we also have a positive 6 and a negative 6, which is actually going to add to nothing. It's 0. And in reality, you don't have to write plus 0, so we can just write this as 15x equals 180. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 15, and we're going to get an x value of 12. In this case, it's already got a little spot written for you. From here, we're going to substitute. So angle ABD, ABD is this one. So this becomes 4 times 12 plus 6 to give us a total of 54 degrees. And DBC is 11 times 12 minus 6, which gives us a total of 126. From here, you can always check your answer. 54 plus 126 does end up adding to 180, so that lets you know that you did this correctly. Some really important things that you want to make sure that you can follow on these types of problems. Some little shortcuts that might be able to help you. You can do kind of a trick with the word complementary. To help you know that complementary means that you add angles up to equal 90, you can actually create a 90-degree picture. So if you draw a straight line down through the C, this actually ends up saying 90, which might help you remember that complementary angles are angles that add up to equal 90 degrees. Next, you can also kind of do this trick with supplementary. You can add a line through the S and add a 1 and a 0, and then it kind of says 180. So that trick is a little more far-fetched than the complementary trick, but it does kind of help you remember that complementary is 90 and supplementary is 180.